What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to show you the presentation I did for the San Diego Paralegals Association. And the reason why I want to show this to you is because we are about to relaunch the civil litigation workshop in the form of an e-course on the Thinkific platform. That course starts on Monday, May 17th. We're going to do one presentation each week, and then we're going to do a live Q&A section in the community on the Thinkific platform. So if you're interested in enrolling in that, there will definitely be a link in the description box below, and you'll want to join before May 16th because we're going to close the doors after that. So, in celebration of us relaunching this civil litigation course, I want to show you the presentation I did for the San Diego Paralegal Association because it talks about a lot of the things that we do in the litigation course. The title of this presentation is What's in the Secret Sauce, which is practice management. This presentation is all about practice management, about creating and innovating and executing in processes that we need to do on a day-to-day basis to move the needle forward. So here's today's presentation. Hope you like it. If you do, smash that subscribe button, click the thumbs up, and let me know if this is some of the materials that you would like to see going forward. Now, I know I have a lot of talking head videos, but sometimes just watching a presentation is enough. So if you want to see more of that, let me know below in the comments. All right, let's dive into things today. So what's in the secret sauce in today's presentation? It is practice management. So a little bit more about me before we get started. I have 2 teenage daughters in high school, and in my spare time, I love chasing tornadoes and riding motorcycles with my husband because having 2 teenage daughters clearly wasn't thrilling enough. So a little bit more about me. I have been working in litigation for more than 20 years. I started at the bottom and worked my way up after spending thousands on a for-profit education that left me in debt, without a job, and completely unprepared for the workplace. This probably sounds familiar to a lot of you out there. A lot of you that I've spoken to have this same sort of story. So what does practice management mean to you? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of why we are here. Well, if you actually look up the words practice management in Google, about 1.9 billion search results later, 2 pages in, I found Clio. And that is because when you look up the term practice management, it is usually synonymous with a clinical practice, with the medical field. But let's take a look at what legal practice management means. Now, if I go to Wikipedia, it says the study and practice of business administration in the legal context, and a bunch of mumbo jumbo after that in 1.7 billion search results. So it's actually a really vague definition of what legal practice management means. So here are the facts. Practice management means different things to different people. Clio, Practice Panther, Abacus, TrialWorks. When people think of legal practice management, it's usually synonymous with words like this. But here's the thing. Those are pre-made meals. Most ingredients are included in Clio, Practice Panther, Abacus, and TrialWorks. Those are pre-made meals, pre-made boxes for you. You need to fit into them. So here are some more facts. Many law firms do not have the financial means to implement expensive legal practice management solutions. And as a result of that, many paralegals are left without standardized systems to track deadlines, tasks, case documents, and all that goes with legal practice management. So what this leads us to is without pre-built practice management systems, many paralegals struggle to manage day-to-day operations, stay ahead of the chaos, and keep the needle moving forward in their cases. So what that leads us to without those systems is overwhelm, anxiety, stress, mismanagement of time, tasks, data, and even more than that. So now that you know the facts, let's dive into the secrets of practice management. Secret number 1. Just like a good recipe, practice management is what you make of it. You're going to get out of it what you put in it. So here we have garbage ingredients, bad recipe, negative results. It's kind of like making a grilled cheese sandwich. You can have gourmet bread, but if you're making it with Cheese Whiz, you're going to have some bad results. Garbage in, garbage out. Secret number 2. You can make the management of your day-to-day operations, cases, and data as complicated as a turducken or as easy as a grilled cheese. Regardless, a solid foundation is required. Secret number 3. If the pre-made meals are horrible, stop trying to make them work and start looking at better recipes that foster efficiency and keep you working smarter, not harder. Secret number 4. You likely already possess the ingredients to create amazing practice management solutions that adapt to your needs. So I need you to start embracing innovation. Secret number 5. The best practice management solutions start with the end in mind. We're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the presentation. So now you know my secrets. Let's dive into building practical solutions. A good gravy starts with a good roux. You've heard that, right? And just like a good roux, practice management requires a solid foundation. So what is foundation for practice management? Foundation. We have email management. We need a way to digitally store our emails in a digital world. We are no longer printing communications, but we are printing them to PDF, and hopefully we're not saving them somewhere on our network. But instead, I use Outlook for that process of email management. And if you look in my blog, I have a recent blog just talking about email management alone. File attachment management, document management. Those two things are actually separate. Now, when we talk about file attachment management, we're talking about the file attachments to all the emails we got. Sometimes we get clients who absolutely dump on us with all of those file attachments, and it is up to us to manage them one by one. Unless you have a system like SharePoint implemented where you are able to digitally manage all of those email communications in that digital environment dedicated SharePoint inbox. So when we talk about file attachment management and document management, those are actually two separate things. Calendar management. We need a way to manage our calendar, to manage all of those deadlines, and to make sure that those deadlines get done, to make sure people are available for those hearings. Contacts management. Obviously, we need a way to run a conflicts data check. We always have to have that available to us in legal practice management. But bottom line is we need a way to manage those contacts because let's face it, we're not using Rolodexes anymore. Task management. Now, when it comes to task management, again, we need to manage our tasks in a digital world. So delegating needs to be in that digital environment, and it's part of foundation. Time management. We can't have task management without time management. When we delegate to someone, that someone has to manage their time to make sure that deadline gets done, that task gets done. So task management, time management are almost synonymous, but they are two separate things. Notes management. Obviously, we need a way to manage those notes. Now, some people like those sticky notes and they have them all over their computers, and that's completely fine if you're one of them, because there is true science behind writing things down and retaining it in much longer term. However, Those sticky notes don't do you very well outside of your office, outside of them being in your view. So notes management is absolutely foundation to legal practice management. So you do you. Only you can identify the foundational ingredients necessary to create your practice management recipe. Start simple, solidify your foundation, and scale from there. If you're not sure about your foundational needs, then look at your workflow and start breaking it down. So, what is your workflow? Let's take a look at what workflow actually is. As paralegals, we know that for every action made by an attorney, it equates to many reactions required by the paralegal. So, streamline your workflow. Develop checklists that outline the milestones in your case or with your client. You're not just a paralegal, you're a project manager, moving the needle forward, and you need to be acting that way. As part of my civil litigation paralegal course, that's something that we talk about in the very beginning of that course, is establishing the checklists that are going to help us stay proactive, keep the initiative going, and make sure that needle moves forward. We're not just paralegals, we're project managers. So identify every step it takes to complete your case and client milestones. You really have to write that down, every single step that it takes. And I mean literally, if you are walking to the postage machine and you are stuffing an envelope and you are putting postage on it and putting it into a mailbox, that is part of your workflow. Identify every single one of those steps. Identify bottleneck areas in the step-by-step process that delay completion of those milestones, if any. Identify ways you can streamline the process and find your path of least resistance. That is incredibly important for your efficiency. So when I move, you move. If you are a product of the 80s or 90s or even the millennium, then you know who this is. This is Ludacris, and he has a song, When I Move, You Move, just like that. And so when I talk to paralegals, I have that same reaction with them. Streamline your workflow. What I mean by this is create an action cheat sheet for yourself that outlines your reactions to the actions of the attorneys. Make sure to include any deadlines so you can set up customized notifications and reminders, which will keep you proactive and always showing initiative. And again, in my paralegal course, that is something that we handle up front, right in the very beginning, is creating that action sheet and making sure that we have deadlines associated with all of those actions, whether or not those deadlines are associated with a statute or court order, or it's just simply part of our day-to-day process, and we need to make sure that we're showing the initiative and staying proactive. Let's look at two examples of workflow in typical litigation. Example number one, it's deposition time. The attorneys for the parties have decided on a date time for a deposition, and you're included in all email communications. The adversarial party is presenting the witness for deposition, thus making coordinating much easier for you. The attorney has made a move. What moves are you going to make? It's deposition time. So you have to immediately diary the deposition with customized notifications starting 1 week ahead of the deposition for prep and exhibit pulling. Book the court reporter, the videographer, the on-site or digital deposition space, and include this information in your calendar event. Prepare a reminder email ahead of the deposition to your attorney taking the deposition and begin discussing prep, the attorney's needs, possible witness needs, and exhibits. Prepare and serve the notice of deposition, pull the deposition exhibits, track receipt of the deposition transcript, and summarize the deposition. That's a lot to track. And without those deadline cheat sheets, without those action cheat sheets, it could get overwhelming. And for that very reason, we need to make sure that we understand the workflow of that entire process and identify all of it. That's practice management. So example number 2, written discovery answers. I mean, lots of paralegals I talk to hate this process of litigation, but it is a necessary evil. So in the state of Illinois, the parties have a narrow window of time to respond to discovery. It's actually 28 days after receipt. So within 28 days of receipt, the parties must, in a nutshell, format the discovery issued by the adverse party, get the client's answers, explain what discovery means to the client, draft the discovery answers, obtain additional documents from the client responsive to discovery, prepare the document production, get everything approved by the attorney, get secondary approval by the client, justify the answers and responses to the client, obtain a client signature verifying the discovery responses, obtain the attorney's signature, e-file the certificate, scrub the metadata, and serve the written discovery responses and document production. Secondary steps would also include indexing the written discovery answers in the written discovery index, as well as indexing the document production produced to the adverse party. So here are all the bottleneck areas that I identified in example number 2. Formatting the discovery. That is a really big pain in the butt for a lot of paralegals, just reformatting that discovery and getting it ready for answering. Getting the client answers. Getting the client to answer discovery after you've sent them the interrogatories and requests for production. They have no idea what those things mean, and they have no idea what that language means, so getting the client answers is difficult for a lot of paralegals. Explaining what discovery means. Of course, you can't just send discovery. You have to also explain what discovery means and all that discovery encompasses to the clients, especially if you're working for plaintiffs. Justifying the answers and responses to the client. Of course, once you've explained the discovery and what that means, and they've given you the answers to the interrogatories and requests for production, then you format everything and give it to them, and you have to justify why you gave the answers that you did. Obtaining additional client documents, again, is one of those pains, and that's because we often don't give the clients an avenue to send us those documents digitally. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Obtaining signatures. Now, if you're in one of those states that requires that paper signature, that requires the wet signature, I'm really sorry. But if you're not in one of those states and you're still doing that, stop it. That is taking you longer than what it has to. Obtaining signatures can absolutely be a pain in the butt. And within a 28-day time frame in the state of Illinois, all of these things have to be done, and then you obtain signatures. So if you're sending it by mail and you're waiting for it to come back, you're almost guaranteed not to make that 28-day window time frame area. So ways you can streamline the written discovery process. Formatting discovery. You can request the adverse party provide you the Word document without the metadata. This can easily be done in Word, and it takes seconds to do. But I've got a lot of paralegals who will say, I asked the adverse party for the interrogatories and requests for production via Word, and they came back and asserted a privilege and said that they couldn't produce it or give it to us in Word format because of the privileged metadata. Metadata can easily be scrubbed in Word. It takes seconds to do. So if opposing counsel is coming to you and saying, no, I assert a privilege, I can't produce that to you in Word form without showing you the metadata, then you can show them within seconds of how that can be done. Alternatively, if you know the written discovery was not a scanned document, but rather captured natively by printing a Word document to PDF, then it is possible you can export the PDF to Word, and in theory, little formatting is required to transform the document into your discovery answers. If possible, consider delegating formatting discovery for answering to a receptionist, a secretary, a legal assistant, if retyping is required. Now, that isn't an option for a lot of people, but if it is, find out if somebody in your office who isn't billing by the hour can perhaps retype it for you. Plan ahead. You know the dinner party is coming. Don't wait until the night before to get your ingredients ready. Template inform everything you can. That includes template emails and letters to clients, template notices, affidavits, certificates, template discovery for issuance, template boilerplate responses and answers, and template calendar events. You can do all of those things. Template inform everything so you are not constantly reinventing the wheel. Go paperless if possible. Now, I know for some jurisdictions out there that simply isn't possible, but if you're in one of those jurisdictions that you can go paperless and you're choosing not to go paperless, stop it. Go paperless. Capture all medical records by requesting native electronic healthcare records in .pdf format. Ladies and gentlemen who are representing plaintiffs, if you are not using and leveraging the HITECH Act in some form and using meaningful use to capture those records, to get the electronic healthcare record, the electronic medical record, then you are doing your firm a disservice. If you do not know what all of those words mean, please reach out to me. Let me know in the comments below, and I will create an entire presentation just on how to hack the HITECH Act. Super important. Implement a digital signature program such as Adobe Sign, DocuSign, or Write Signature to limit unnecessary steps. And I do mean literally. Literally, you are printing a document, you are walking it into an attorney's office, you are waiting for a signature, you are walking to the copier or scanner, you are scanning and copying that document, you are walking back to your desk, you are saving that document, you are stuffing that envelope, you are walking back to the postage machine, you are putting postage on it, walking over to a file box, putting it in the file box, or walking to a post office box and putting it in there, and then walking back to your desk. My God, that is so many unnecessary steps if you will just implement a digital signature program. Adobe Sign, DocuSign, Write Signature, they all come with certificates of authenticity to authenticate signature on documents in the event you need to produce it to court or to opposing counsel. My favorite is Citrix Write Signature. Form e-service agreements with opposing counsel and agree to exchange all correspondence and service via email. That is one of the very first things that I do as soon as I serve the other side and they appear in a case. I represent plaintiffs, obviously, but I form e-service agreements with everyone. Now, I will say that not everyone agrees. Some people say, hey, I still want that paper. I'm sorry if you're still one of those people, but I try and form those e-service agreements as much as possible because I need everything to come in digitally because I am completely paperless. I do not want paper. Encourage your clients to send you documents electronically and provide an encrypted HIPAA-compliant platform so they can do so. OneDrive is a great avenue of doing that. So we're going to talk about that here a little bit later. Getting the client's answers and more. Expedite the process with practical solutions. Here are my practical solutions. I have template emails and letters that explain the written discovery process to my clients in a way that they can clearly understand. I use Microsoft Forms to obtain specific discovery answers from my clients, again, asking them the questions that I need them to answer in language that they understand and they can give me good answers to. I use Microsoft OneDrive to obtain additional documents from clients. Microsoft OneDrive is a HIPAA encrypted compliant environment. You have to authenticate to get into it. Most people have two-factor authentication to get into it. There's audit trails and security logs built into it. So you can use OneDrive as a means to collect the data from your clients. Give them the opportunity in the platform to send you that data electronically. I use a digital signature program to obtain all signatures from clients and attorneys. My favorite program is Citrix Write Signature because it does not change the document. Now, DocuSign adds some letters and some numbers to those documents. And I think Adobe Sign adds a line and a date under everybody's signature. But Citrix Write Signature, I love it because it doesn't change the actual document at all. It comes with a separate certificate of authenticity. So if I need to produce that, I can. And just like that, I no longer send written discovery to clients using legalese language the client didn't understand, which led to the domino effect of other bottleneck areas. I gave the client an easy solution to get additional documents to me in a HIPAA compliant way. Now, I will admit I work with a lot of people who are on the elderly side, and they are less familiar with things like OneDrive or Dropbox or even Citrix ShareFile, of course. And so because of that, sometimes I still have to send them a self-addressed stamped envelope to get those documents back. But when I can, I'm obviously producing just a HIPAA compliant way for me to digitally capture those documents from the client. I gave the client an easy solution to answer discovery with questions they understood because I used Microsoft Forms and I knew how to talk to my client. I expedited the signature process by collecting e-signatures via Citrix Write Signature. So Microsoft Forms, if you would like to learn more about using Microsoft Forms for things like intake, gathering discovery answers, or creating internal forms such as check requests, time off requests, and more, then check out this video that I've got here. Find your path and foster efficiency. You have your own way of getting discovery answered or issued. Is it working? Or are there bottleneck areas that slow your process and progress down? If so, the bottleneck will continue to exist unless you do something about it. Start exploring paths that expedite your processes with resources and technology that you have available to you. Remember that nothing great comes from comfort zones. Free Clio in paralegal programs. Now, I want to talk about the fact that most paralegal programs come with a free Clio subscription. Now, I think it was absolutely genius marketing on their part to do this and to offer even CLE credit in Clio and for working in that program. But here's the thing. In a recent poll I conducted in my private Facebook group, more than 80% of recent paralegal graduates were exposed to Clio and were provided free training. Less than 10% from that same group were provided free Microsoft 365 application training, despite having free Microsoft 365 education accounts. Outlook email and calendar, Word, OneNote, OneDrive, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, none of this. They didn't receive training on any of this. But which software is a law firm more likely to have? Clio or Microsoft? I've got to tell you guys, my bet's always on Microsoft. Microsoft is on every single Windows operating system. In Windows 11, you will be forced to use Microsoft 365 products. So you better start getting familiar with them now. I'm not saying anything bad about Clio. I'm sure Clio is great. They built themselves on top of Microsoft 365. So they're not stupid there. But here's the thing, guys. Do you know who invented Clio? A software developer. And dare I ask, what does a software developer know about your day-to-day processes as a legal professional? They don't. The fact is, they don't. And if I'm going to buy into a case management system from a software developer who doesn't know about my day-to-day processes, then I am going to buy into Microsoft and build my own processes rather than buying into a cookie cutter system like Clio. Clio came out in 2007. Microsoft has been supporting our businesses since 1975. Ladies and gentlemen, Microsoft isn't going anywhere. So, bridge the gap. Explore your Microsoft 365 applications because Microsoft 365 is more than just Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. OneNote handles your notes management. It was a foundational aspect of building that legal case management system of yours. OneDrive, document management, another foundational item. Lists, indexing case data. We're all indexing case data. We got pleadings index, orders index, or we got a medical records index, or we got a billing and damages summary. Lists, Microsoft Lists is amazing for that. Forms, gathering intake and data and discovery answers and things like that. I tell my civil litigation course students that discovery doesn't begin when it is issued. It begins at intake. So start gathering that information at intake with Microsoft Forms. Planner, task management. Microsoft Planner is amazing for task management. Delegate everything that needs to be delegated and have your team get everything done on that list that you've delegated out to them. But task management, again, one of those foundational items. To Do. Microsoft To Do is amazing for task and time management. And remember, those things go hand in hand. We can use Microsoft Planner to delegate the task, and the person who is receiving that task can use To Do to manage their time to get that task done. Outlook. Outlook is amazing for email and calendar management. And you know what? Like 90% of my clients are using Outlook and they're like, oh, I had no idea I could use it for calendar management because they've been busy using a glorified $1,000, $2,000, $30,000, $20,000 system this entire time for calendar management when you can be simply using Outlook. It's really powerful, guys. Microsoft Sway. Microsoft Sway is amazing for marketing, for preparing newsletters. If you're writing a blog and you're publishing a blog on your website, you can use this for blog creation. Microsoft Sway is really great for your practice. Now, I'm not saying it truly has a place in litigation or anything like that, but Sway is really great for marketing purposes. And I don't think that people quite give it the credit that it truly deserves. But if you have a lot of wordy content, put it in Microsoft Sway and turn it into something dynamic and visually pleasing that is really going to engage the target audience that you're wanting. Microsoft Stream is a great solution for creating video training tutorials and creating client videos, maybe a guide or a welcome packet or something like that. We are often sitting next to people and training them when we onboard them. But what if we created internal training videos for that onboarding process? Or what if we created these videos that welcome new clients and let them know what is to be expected? Microsoft Stream is a really great avenue for that. Microsoft Teams, the video conferencing platform, and so much more. Now, Microsoft used to have Skype for Business, which was completely decommissioned and replaced with Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is on every Windows 11 operating system. It is your on-premise video conferencing platform. And so Teams is amazing. Lots of people are using it. I have many firms who solely live in Teams. It's amazing. I have it actually for my VoIP telephone solution as well. So I'm receiving calls through my Teams application, regardless of where I am. I'm actually talking to people through my computer. And my clients are none the wiser. They have no idea I'm not actually talking to them on the phone. So it's really great. Other options that you have is something like Asana for task and calendar management. Asana is great. I use it with my social media marketing team. It's great for task delegation. It's great for calendar management. There is gratification that people get in it because whenever you complete a task and you mark it complete, this unicorn flies across your screen. So it's that gratification mode for completing a task. And so I have a lot of people who love Asana. There is a free platform, there is a paid platform, and it's all about the way that you use it, you execute Asana. Before I found Microsoft 365 and started to dive into Microsoft 365, I did a lot of my management through Asana, and it worked great for a while, but I just needed something a little bit more robust than that. And so that's why I dove into Microsoft 365. Acrobat DC Pro, prepare fillable forms for gathering intake information, discovery answers, etc. Before I found Microsoft Forms, I would create fillable PDF forms for my client, and that's how they would get me the intake information, or that's how they would get discovery answered. But I'm an expert at Acrobat DC Pro, and I suggest that you become an expert at this software too. I have this open on my desktop every day, all day. I can't recommend to paralegals and other legal professionals enough to become experts in Acrobat DC Pro. So Acrobat DC Pro video tutorials, I have 4 of them on my YouTube at this very moment, and I continue to create these. If you have any that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. Of course, Microsoft Word and Excel for data management and indexing. We always have these available to us. Even if you're someone who is working on a Mac, you probably still have Word and Excel available to you. So we've been using these for years, and it's Microsoft products. We're going to continue to use these for years. So Microsoft List, I talked about that. It is one of the most powerful ingredients in my pantry. Hands down, has become one of my favorite Microsoft 365 applications. And I said this before, if you go on my arrowconsultants.solutions or a365.legal pages, you can go into my store, download these formatted Excel lists, upload them to your Microsoft List application, and use them to track all of your case data. In my paralegal course and my civil litigation course, these indexes are provided to my paralegals because I want them to hit the ground running on their cases in litigation. I want them to document everything that comes in and goes out of their case. So I equip them, of course, with all of my lists. Case tracking and indexing with Microsoft Lists. These are some of the lists that I use to track all of my case data. And this is amazing because I can cull this information. I can bring all this information together. I can create reports off of this information. I can expand upon my lists. I can export my list and create hyperlinked Excel documents. There's so many things that I can do with Microsoft Lists. I absolutely encourage every legal professional to get in there. It's not only a Microsoft application, a Microsoft 365 application amongst all the other applications. It's also a standalone application that you can download on your desktop computer. So bonus tip, if you do not have a way to automate document creation and you have a Microsoft 365 subscription, you can use Lists, Word, and Power Automate to merge that information together and automate the document creation process. So you have data in a list in a SharePoint site, and you have a Word document that exists within your document library, but you want to bring that information to auto-create that document so that you're not retyping it and reinventing the wheel. So if you have Lists, Word, and Power Automate, you can bring that together. If you need any help, Be sure to contact me. I've already got that script written. You don't know what you don't know. So get out there and broaden your horizons in technology to find out what you don't know. Create. If your firm doesn't have a practice management system, please create one, innovate one. Explore. If your firm's practice management system isn't working for you and isn't helping you thrive, start exploring better options. Start with the end in mind. Reverse engineer your case. How? Remember that discovery starts at intake, not when written discovery is issued or received. You know what's coming in discovery, so you should be able to ask the questions that you know is coming in discovery at intake and not when written discovery is issued or received. Identify what case data you find yourself and your attorney searching for the most, and then create systems that get you there faster. I'm reminded of that Friends episode where Chandler asks Joey, "Oh, get there faster." And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're all just trying to get there faster. We know where there is. We need to reverse engineer the process to get us there faster. One of my most valuable tools that gets me there faster is Microsoft Lists. Become an Adobe Acrobat Pro expert. Bates labeling, exhibit making, bookmarking, hyperlinking, creating action wizards, and fillable PDFs. All of those things. You need to know how to do all of those things to be a legal professional in today's age and technology. To be thriving as a legal industry professional, you need to be an expert in Adobe Acrobat Pro. Customize your application quick actions, preferences, settings, and defaults, and more. I see so many paralegals who are so excited to get to their new job, and the very first thing they do is set up their office. They put all of the nice things in there, they put all of the picture frames in there, and that's lovely. And I'm so happy you created this amazing space that you want to be in every single day. But here's the thing, that's not moving the needle forward. That's not helping you and your clients in your cases. Here's what does. Customizing your applications, making sure your quick actions are always right there, making sure your preferences are set, setting your defaults in Word so it's not returning and doing 1.5 lines. It's only doing 1 line. And it's always in Times New Roman, not in Arial. You need to customize your technology before you decorate your new office. At the end of the day, documenting is central to practice management. Don't be this paralegal. The counselor says, "Hey, I need your answer." And the attorney is saying, "Hold on, let me text my paralegal." Don't be that paralegal. Create solutions for your firm that empower your team to find whatever it is that they need to find on their own devices and wherever they're at wherever time they are. Don't be this paralegal and be a slave to your desk and a slave to your phone, just waiting for the attorney to text you. At the end of the day, you don't need expensive software to have good practice management skills. Good practice management skills should come before the software. The software is just to empower you. Now, the software may not empower you, and if it doesn't, start looking for other solutions. But good practice management skills will take you anywhere, to any software, through any software, to any firm, for any firm. Good practice management skills go a long way in you thriving in the legal industry. At the end of the day, if you simplify the process, you will amplify your results. At the end of the day, knowledge is power. So to summarize, I've given you the ingredients, I've given you the instructions, I've provided you with options for substitutions, and I've exposed my secrets and provided my best tips. Are you ready to get cooking on your secret sauce for practice management? If not, cooking class is available. Keep the learning momentum going. Get out there, explore, broaden horizons, create, break, fix, eat, repeat, and do it all over again. Thank you so much for your time today. Your time is so valuable, and I appreciate you providing me this opportunity to speak with you. Keep learning and growing through your career. Ways that you can connect with me is through my LinkedIn, Facebook business page, Facebook group, Instagram, 2 websites, Pinterest, and of course, right here on YouTube. If you liked today's presentation, definitely give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and consider clicking that bell notification to receive a notification of each time I post a video on here. If you haven't already enrolled for the civil litigation paralegal course and you would like to, there is a link in the description box below. Of course, good luck with you and all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs an amazing paralegal just like you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, an amazing week ahead of you, an awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah! Bye, guys.